In the regular maintenance in your financial life, what are some expenses that you just have to review every single year to make sure that things don't get off square, off plumb? Share those and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Money is not life. You do need money to live, but in and of itself, it's not life. It's a means to an end. It's a means to live the life that you're called, and sort of like oxygen. Oxygen's not life, but you do need it to live, and money's the same way. And so, but sort of with your finances, sometimes just regular maintenance is needed. So not really fun stuff and big strategy and planning or big goals being met, but just regular maintenance. And oftentimes, if you're not aware of these things, you just had a recent example, financial advisor on our team was sharing with me where someone was just not routinely sort of looking at some of their areas of their finances, and things got way off track and ended up costing them a lot more than it should. So what are some of the things, some of the expenses, not very exciting stuff, but what are some of the things in your financial life that you just routinely do need to check in on at least once a year? Well, the first one, this one is exciting in my book, but I'm a nerd, and that is your contributions. Your retirement contributions, your long-term savings contributions, and there's a couple reasons why. And you probably already do this one. This one might be an easier one. But one reason I want you to tune into your contributions every single year is because I want to challenge you to increase your contributions just a little bit every single year. You won't feel it, but it will end up compounding and making a big difference over several years or even decades. And that is normally, increase what you're saving to your 401k by 1% every single year. And until you reach that level where you're maxing it out or you're well ahead of pace. And if you max out your 401k, then increase in a different venue, Roth IRA or something else, what you're contributing to your retirement. Just increase it just a little bit every single year. That way, if you're not quite saving enough to reach your goal, then you'll slowly get there. Or if you're already saving enough to reach your goal, you're adding up additional, without big sacrifice, adding up additional margin so that as life throws curveballs, you can adapt. So that's one reason why you got to tune into your contributions at least once a year. But the other reason is contribution limits change. I was just dealing with a situation where individual set up their monthly budget, set up their monthly finances to contribute the maximum to their Roth IRA, but that maximum amount, and did it every single month, the first of the month, a proportion amount was coming out and maxing out their Roth IRA. But that was the limit from a couple of years ago. And now the limit's close to $1,000 higher from back when they set this. And so the last couple of years it was, well, do you want to increase your monthly? And they were like, no, it fits in the budget. So we'll just scrounge up some money and make another contribution right at the end of the year to get us up to the max. And it's starting to create a mess. And so if you stay on top of this by reviewing that contribution every single year and true up to make sure that your monthly amount is enough to meet that maximum or that goal, then your finances stay nice and easy and nice and tidy and cleaned up and organized. The second expense that I would tell you got to review at least once a year, your automatic expenses. Your automatic expenses. Now, this is a couple decades ago, but one of my mantras was automate all your savings and none of your expenses. Automate all your savings and none of your expenses. And I think you can avoid financial trouble if you do that. Here's the problem. That was before all these subscriptions. That was before things were so easy and convenient, and it would be a huge hassle to not have things automatic. I don't think you don't have a choice with Netflix and some of these others. So I get it. I've loosened up on that a little bit, and you're going to have automatic expenses, but you got to tune into them. You got to tune into them at least once a year for a few different reasons. One, is it possible you're still paying for a subscription that you no longer use or no longer need? Absolutely. In fact, that is a big concern of mine, right? There's enough of them out there. If I take my eyes a little bit off the target, am I paying for a subscription that we're not even using? We almost had 2 Disney Plus subscriptions in our household, I'll tell you that. We almost did. And part of that's because of another reason. We had a utility, our cell phone bill, that they then came out with some sort of gimmick. And if you bundle your, I think it was a Disney Plus or some other subscription in with your cell phone, then you'll get a cheaper cell phone monthly bill or whatever, or money off a phone or something. I can't remember. And so all of a sudden that subscription, Disney Plus, was added to our cell phone bill, and I was still almost paying it out of pocket separately. And so that's the other expense that you need to tune into with these automatic expenses is your utilities. And I would include cell phones in that as well. It's very possible you're paying for something you no longer need, or you're paying for something when there's a better deal out there. There are so many with utilities or with cable or internet or these things. It's very, very likely and very common that new and better pricing is available to new customers. And so all you need to do is every so often call in and say, am I getting the best deal? Is there a different approach, a different plan? And so I don't like doing it. You probably don't like to do it either. Something that's part of the regular maintenance at least once a year. Tuning into those monthly automatic expenses. And then a third thing that is an expense that you need to review at least once a year is your delayed spending. Now, this is, if you're not familiar with that term, we've done a lot of content on it. It's part of our 3 bank account system, that the cash flow management and operating system that we recommend that you use. And that 3 bank account is that you've got an immediate spending account, that's your checking account, where all your normal monthly income comes in and your monthly expenses come out. Your 3rd bank account is your emergency fund, where it's only used for emergencies. But this 2nd bank account, the one in between, is your delayed spending. And this is where you are proactively saving up for known upcoming expenses, your non-monthly expenses, right? These are the things that often get people chasing their tail, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back financially, where, well, this was something that we're gonna do, but it's not part of the monthly budget, and we don't have the money there when the bill came up. And so setting money aside, figuring out what are all the non-monthly expenses that are gonna come up that you need to set money aside for, total all those up, divide it by 12, and save that amount into this delayed spending account so that the money's there when these expenses show up. Well, you got to tune into those every so often, because why? Some of those expenses go up. Some of those expenses change. Some of those expenses drop off and new ones come on. So a typical one is insurances. You're going to save up in this delayed spending to pay your insurance once during the year because you get a discount for doing that. Insurance rates have gone up. Property taxes have gone up. Vacations, the cost of vacations have gone up. You might have a child now that's about to start driving, and you might want to look at, okay, well, we need a car for them. And so you want to build that into your delayed spending. So reviewing that at least once a year so that you can recalibrate what you're saving for your delayed spending, that is necessary as well. So those are just 3 examples of expenses that you do need to routinely check into at least once a year to make sure that you're on track. And I mentioned that keeps your financial life tidy and organized. And if it gets unorganized, disorganized, it could end up causing you to not save as much for the future, or maybe cut some other corners and create some challenges. So work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well. Or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.